All right, welcome back to Happy Mind, Happy Life podcast. I'm your host, Brittany, and if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing the time I found out I had to have my appendix removed, and I ended up having like a tumor. It's called an endocrine tumor. So that should be interesting to really talk about. Um, so I didn't know I had it at first. I was it was like on a Thursday I was experiencing like a lot of pain, but even like before this I was like depressed but also like losing weight. So I was like, okay, I'm losing weight, but I thought I was because of like my depression or whatever and like anxiety and stuff like that. I was like becoming like really hungry and then thirsty like all the time. um just drained. I didn't really think too much of it because I was still just moving around, like everything was pretty much normal. um and then like going back to Thursday, I was just standing there, I was talking to one of my coworkers, and then my back was hurting. I ended up going to my nephew's game that same day, and I was like eating, like, but I wasn't really eating. Like it was just feel like I'm full, and like I couldn't really do nothing else. Nauseated as well to the fullest, very uncomfortable. And then what happened? Like Zaylin was in the bleachers, and like when Zaylin had stood up, and I was like, "Come here," and then he had jumped into my arms, and then after I caught him, I was like, "Yeah, no, I gotta put you down." He's so tiny, but it's okay. Um, And then I was like just feeling really sick. I got back home to my apartment and I was like, yeah, I'm going to bed. Um, and I was trying to fall asleep. I was in and out of sleep. I was like trying to take like laxatives and like I was like not feeling the best, like throwing up. And then I gave myself a time. Like I was like, okay, if it hits 10 o'clock and I wake up and I'm like still like sick and I don't feel good and I'm throwing up, then like I'm going to the emergency room. So I went to the emergency room. I got there around like 10ish. I was in the waiting room for like almost 1, 2 o'clock. And then they're like, okay, you can come back now. Didn't give me like any fluids or nothing. Um, like did the whole simple normal thing, using the bathroom, peeing in a cup, all that stuff. And so I was like, okay. And then like my symptoms were just like on and off, on and off. Got a CT scan. Then they did like a chest scan too or something. But and then I went back, I laid down, like it was like almost 3, 4 o'clock. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, finally somebody came and saw me, and I was like, it was almost 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, oh my gosh, I already gotta go to work. Like, let me go to work. So the doctor, one of the doctors come in and they were like, have somebody came and talk to you about like what's going on? And I was like, no. I was hoping I was getting my discharge papers at this point. And then um, he was like, well, you have a swollen appendix and you may need to be admitted so we can do an emergency surgery. I said, what? I'm sorry. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Um, and he was like, yeah, we're going to have the surgeon come in and talk to you about your options. And so when I talked to the surgeon, he was like, we can either give you like antibiotics, hopefully that will help, or we can do the surgery and just go ahead and remove it. We don't know what size it is. Um, and going from there, whatever. So I was like, I don't want to feel the pain. Like, I don't want to go through certain things, and because it could burst. He was talking about it could burst, and I was like, just go ahead and remove it. So I was like calling. I didn't even tell nobody I was in the hospital. Really, I just called and said, I'm in the hospital and they're about to do emergency surgery. And I had called my mom and told her, and I talked to siblings, sibling, and I told my dad. My mom came um, as quickly as possible, and then like when she got there, finally, that's when they admitted me to a room, and I was in there, got prepped. Um, I was like praying, like, oh my gosh, like I hate going under. And then, yeah, I hate going under. And then I woke up from the surgery. Surgery went well. I had like four incisions. And then, I kid you not, I was feeling so like nauseated, like, but thirsty, like, and they gave me some ice chips. And I was like doing that, drinking a little bit of water. Next thing you know, everything just, it went everywhere. Like me throwing up water, just, it went everywhere. And I couldn't keep nothing down at that point. So they were like, oh my goodness. So, um, after that, it was just like, um, waiting to go back to a room, get situated, and then they gave me like pain meds, like through the IV, like keep it going. Like those were the best pain meds, I promise you. Um, and then after that, I was like the next following day. My dad didn't. I think he came. My dad only came the day that I was getting discharged. And then after that, it was just a struggle um, for the first 2-3 weeks, I would say, before my follow up appointment. And then I was like still nauseated, back was hurting, foot was hurting. And then I was like just being careful with whatever I was doing. So, follow up to one of my what was it? My follow up appointment, I was like, yeah, I'm just nauseated and like just still in pain. And like he checked my incisions and stuff like that, like healing perfectly and fine. I hate the scars that I have because of the surgery and stuff like that. They feel huge now. Um, but I looked at it and I was like, ugh, I can't, because I didn't like the endometrius surgery, and then I had to get my appendix removed. So the doctor came in, and this is like my follow up. He came in, and after he was done looking at everything, he went over some papers and stuff like that, and then he was like, I'm thinking I'm fine, I'm good, I could go. This man sits down and tells me, um, it looks like when we went in, it was like this, and like the tip of it was swollen, and it was like a certain centimeter, um, and he pretty much was like, you have an endocrine tumor, which holds cancer cells. So shocked, he was like, cancer, right? And I'm like, just not saying nothing, nothing. The word cancer just had me just shut down. And then I ended up was just he was just talking to me about it in this ear, and then I was like just sad because I'm just like I don't like hearing stuff like that. And then I was just like very emotional, just not like when, but just tears just falling, and I'm just like, are you serious right now? And so then he was like, I'm gonna talk to my doctors, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna talk to the board, and then follow up with like next steps for you to do, and then I'll get in touch with you again so that way we can bring in like your parents or whatever, and then talk about chemo or whatever you may need. And then I said okay, um, and then I had to go talk to my mom, my dad, and they wanted me to get a second opinion, which we did that. Um, and then it was just mostly like scheduling up an appointment, like after, more after. And then um, after that, I was just like, ugh, he was like, we need to put you on a fiber diet. And I was like, okay. I was totally against it. I couldn't do it. No. Still couldn't do it. And then he was like, "We'll talk to you about the cancer affiliates, which is in Panama. Um, and then we'll get you some stuff scheduled, possibly another surgery." Um, but he was like, "It's up to you." Like, he did say I would do another surgery. I could have chosen to do another surgery if like everything, if I felt like they needed to go in and remove anything else. And so that's just what I've either just been like hesitant on, but also not like really thinking super much about certain things. Um, and then like after that, I was like, gonna go home, have a good weekend, um, be around people that I actually like and care about, um, and then go from there. Follow up to maybe like a week or two later. He called and he said like I'm clear and that everything's good, but I still have to pretty much do this whole cancer affiliate stuff. Like they have to check me, make sure everything's good, blood work, um, and then like real soon next month I believe I have a colonoscopy coming up, so that will pretty much determine like everything is gone and there's nothing else that has spread or done whatever. So I kind of just want to get the colonoscopy done, like, um, and then get everything like out the way. It's crazy that I deal with super so much, and then I do pretty much I like everything's fine. Everything is typically fine to me, but I take what I deal with like seriously. Um, I don't think I'm afraid of having certain things. I pretty much try to stay positive, especially when I first found out I had cancer. Um, and I was like, yeah, no. And then like after that, like I was dealing with pain, like a lot of pain, and then I got prescribed what was it? It was oxycodone and hydrocodone. I got prescribed both of them. Didn't really take oxycodone before, so I was like, I'm gonna take oxycodone for pain. Um, and I was like texting. I was texting everybody like, look, I needed somebody to answer me or like check on me after the fact because I was in so much pain, and it was the first time I took it. So I was like, when I took it, I was like feeling super in the clouds, and it was the best thing for my pain because I was like done and I went to sleep. So shout out to the people who did respond and who looked out for me in that moment. I didn't really tell anyone. Like this is the first time I'm sharing the cancer, the tumor type of thing. Um, such a vulnerable moment. I would say I'm going through a lot of vulnerable moments. And I really appreciate God. I'm really blessed and highly favored, I would say. Um, but like that is no joke. Like that is like no joke. It could just be just sitting in there, and then when you go to a doctor's appointment, it's like, oh my gosh, such and such is happening, and it's like, why me? Why me? I feel like I've dealt with enough, so I'm gonna need all these whatevers to go away. Um, but other than that, like I would say I'm doing okay. Um, I still have like back pain a lot. Either my feet or my legs get swollen. Still nauseated a lot. Um, and yeah, I think I have an appointment this week coming up. If it's not this week, it's next week with the cancer affiliates. But scary, scary times. Scary times. And I would not eat that hospital food like ever again. The only thing I was stuck on was the pudding. The jello pudding, top tier. The only thing I wanted to eat after the fact I got out. Um, the only thing I would just scoop up. I could eat like a whole thing of those, like 5 or 10 of those in one day without trying to put myself onto like other meats and stuff like that. That was like the best thing ever. Um, but yeah, I am. currently, like, I will look up certain things about the endocrine tumor and stuff like that, and like certain treatments that people have done, um, and going through it. So that's been keeping me like positive, and I'm hoping like next month, like everything's fine, and um, just continuously like pushing through and X, Y, and Z, whatever, um, and kind of just get back to doing things a little bit differently now since I've had it. Um, and I didn't want to almost share it because I didn't want people to feel like sorry for me, because I don't live like that, or I don't want people to live like that. Like, it's not the end of the world. Um, and I would hope that when I do share this, that people are just more receptive to just understanding, and then like maybe even going to get checked themselves, or um yeah, just being a positive person if you come across this, and you can also share certain moments that you have been in, low moments or whatever the case is, like, and I'm always supportive, I'm always understanding. um I'm understanding to who's understanding to me, but um yeah, it's been a long road. Like, February was crazy. February was when I had surgery. March, April, May. So almost like 3 months. Yeah, almost 3 months, which is crazy. So crazy. Um, but I'm hoping nothing else changes after the next appointment and stuff like that. But I will try to keep y'all updated as far as anything goes, with episodes and so forth and on. I think this next episode, um, I'm gonna talk updates and um catching everybody else up on all that's going on. Maybe drop some tea, um, per usual, um, and just go from there. I think this will be a good summer coming up, and everything that I'm about to share. It may be crazy, it may be emotional, it may not be emotional. It just may be a good time. Um, but I'm always here to speak truth, have a happy mind, happy life. Sort of, kind of. It's not always going to be a happy mind, happy life, and I'm learning to understand that as well, especially with that journey of having cancer. But we'll see. So, anyways, new episodes coming soon. At some point, I promise. I'm working on it. It's just everything has been like a little bit hectic and crazy. Um, but I will try to catch up with you guys real soon. Thank you guys for tuning in to Happy Mind, Happy Life. Y'all be safe.